Hello! Today we're going to look at factorising, and specifically factorising with terms that are called, or expressions that are called, difference of two squares. Now before we move on to that, because the difference of two squares expressions are down here, those two there. Now before we move on to that, we're going to look at expanding brackets and see if we can see a pattern that's going to help us factorise these two expressions. So we're going to start off with expanding these three terms up here, or these two expressions up here, and look for a pattern. So expanding, using our crab claw technique, x multiplied by x, x squared, x multiplied by negative 5, negative 5x, x multiplied by, or 5 multiplied by x, 5x, and finally 5 multiplied by negative 5, negative 25. Bit of simplification. X terms cancel out, plus 5 subtract 5, 0x, so it leaves us with x squared subtract 25. I'll do the same here, but I'll just do it a bit more quickly. So we'll get x squared plus 4x subtract 4x minus 16, or subtract 16. Again, the x terms cancel out, leave with x squared subtract 16. For this expression, we get x squared subtract 7x plus 7x subtract 49. Again, the x terms cancel out. 7x, take away 7x, 0x. So it leaves us with x squared subtract 49. So our aim today is to go back the other way. So go from expressions like that back up to that. So x squared subtract 16 back up to the factorised version. Right, moving on to this. Now we know, if we're going to factorise this, we know the answer is your x plus 7 in one bracket and x minus 7 in the other bracket. So we know what we're aiming for. So how do we get there if we started with this but we don't know that? Well, the first thing we look for is, common factor, but there's no common factor here. Next thing we look for is, are these terms squares? So x squared, well yeah, that's x multiplied by x, so that's a square term. Is 49 a square term? Yep, because it's 7 squared. So if we can get it in this form, where it's the difference of two squares, and remember difference in maths means subtract, so the difference of two square terms, then we've really got it sorted. So in this form, we've got x squared, if we just put x there, got 7 squared, so 7 there, and 7 there, and all we do is we put plus and a minus in between, and you'll see that's exactly the same as we had up here. And if ever you're not convinced, you can always expand back using the crab claw method. So same sort of process here. Is x squared a square term? Yep, because it's x multiplied by x. Is 121 a square term? Yes, because it's 11 squared. X squared, therefore we put the x and x. 11 squared, 11 there, 11 there, and plus and minus in between. And that's you. So if you spot it's a difference of two squares, once you get to this stage, I hope it's fairly straightforward. Goodbye, and thanks for watching.